How y'all doing?
Are y'all from England?
Australia. Australia. Wish I had an accent.
Dad, I wrote a song. Thought maybe we could ask for an audition.
Oh, that's great, honey. Let's take it one step at a time.
Kay tells me you're a promoter.
You know someone looking for one?
Well, I may know somebody who should be.
She's been given a beautiful voice. It's a miracle.
She's a special one, son. Your family, they're not in the way. They are the way.
What a treat it is to finally get some time with you, Candace. How are you? I know you've been super, super busy these days.
Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here.
I told you before we got started I was going to share a little personal favorite memory of mine because it involves for King and Country. Not only did I grow up with you on Full House, but I have been a TV host now for almost 20 years. And I remember being in our newsroom at the time when you were on The View, and For King and Country came on to surprise you for your birthday. And it was such an inspiring moment for me to see that on a talk show. And and I just recently listened to your podcast with Joel, and I didn't realize y'all didn't really know each other back then.
We didn't.
And to just see you both, the careers blossoming, and to see you both working together. I mean, this must be just a really, like, God, look what you've done.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly has been. It was incredible to meet them. I too was a fan for a long time with their music. And so it was such a thrill for me when they came and performed on the show, and then had my daughter sing along with them. But we really did form a family friendship from that day forward. And yeah, it's just incredible. It's like weird. I told Joel the other day, because I was at one of their concerts last weekend, and I said, it's so weird because you're my friend and I know you. But once you get on stage and you start performing, like, I just turn into a fan. Like, I just I'm like they are so incredible. And yeah, it's just amazing to see what they've done over the years. They're just such a talented group of people. I'm always amazed and feel very blessed by their friendship.
Well, and what God has done for them and their family, and what God has done for you, and just continues to give you and help provide more platforms where we can share stories, share interviews that are Christ-centered. And finally, again, me coming from mainstream media, where now I get the privilege of promoting faith-based movies like what you're putting out. So I'm so appreciative of that. But to have the freedom, to really talk about what matters, but still in a fun way.
Yeah, exactly. I've been in family entertainment my whole life. I've actually stayed away most of my career from Christian entertainment because I never felt like it was up to the standards of everything else in Hollywood. And so I've worked really hard, and I'm so proud to be at a point in my career to see so many people coming forward who are people of faith that may have been a little shy in the past, intimidated maybe to share their faith publicly with Hollywood, but being emboldened and just are all in it. And you see the rise of such high quality, beautiful Christian films over the last few years. And it's an incredible place to be. And I feel like, in that sense, there's a revival going on in Hollywood.
Yes, that's what I was going to mention. It just feels like the tides are turning. It's a new era. You're kind of leading the charge, which I love. Let's talk about Unsung Hero more specifically, though. And what I love, it celebrates the joy, even in the hard times of motherhood. And I know just the word joy is something you focus on a lot. I love it. I did Tara Lee Cobble's Bible recap last year.
Awesome.
But it's about the joy in motherhood. And even there's a scene in the movie where she even admits, like, my dream was just to be Helen, the mom, is just to be a mom and to be a wife. And sometimes I had a chance to talk with Helen, and I feel like sometimes in today's culture, if you say that, it's not as welcomed. Like, it's like, what? You just want to be a mom?
I know, as if there's not a lot happening there. It's like the biggest responsibility in the world to be caring for another human being and like raising them up, um, raising them up well. It's an incredible job. It's an incredible journey to be a mom, and it often gets overlooked by our current society. We don't value it as much, and I think there's a lot of us that, also as women want to be in a formal workplace. And so sometimes it doesn't feel like there's room for both and to do both jobs well. So to put the spotlight on moms in this film is incredible. And to say that you're the difference maker in your family. You mean everything. And I think Helen in this film, she's the glue that holds everyone together.
Yeah. Did it help you maybe look at your family? And I know you're a proud mama
Mhm.
yourself, and your kids are growing up and getting married, and it's just you're entering a new phase. Did it help you? Because I think this movie will make us look internally a little bit on how we view, children and family and sometimes the struggles that come with it.
Yeah, it certainly will. This movie will tug at the heartstrings, so bring your tissues. But there's so many characters that you can relate to. I mean, I looked at Helen in this movie and I'm like, yeah, she inspires me to be a better mom. And she just, she made the unexpected an adventure instead of falling into like the pit of despair. And what an outlook to be able to have that. And that was also because she placed her hope and faith in God. And then I look at David, the dad, and I felt for him so much because he really couldn't catch a break. He was doing everything he possibly could, and just nothing would go his way. And there's this unbelievable scene in the movie that I cry every time I hear it. And there's a bit of an argument, and David's at his wit's end, and she is saying, "Honey, like, stop. Nobody's judging us." And he says, "No, everyone's judging me, Helen. They're judging me." And I just get chills because I guess I can relate to it in so many ways, but I just feel such humility and despair for David, like, working so hard and wanting to provide, and again not catching that break. So there's these amazing humble moments in the movie. There's a lot of levity to it, as well as the fun and adventure. They kind of go hand in hand, which is why I think this movie is so incredible.
There's a lot of fun guest stars too. Talk about Hillary Scott, because as you said, as it almost feels like a little bit of a revival and people being more okay with being bold about their faith. She's one of those. So it's so cool to see her in this space, and I want more.
I know. It really is. Yeah, Hillary's become a good friend of mine over the last few years, and she was actually, I asked her to do play a part in, and she wrote an original song for a Christmas movie that I had out 2 years ago called A Christmas Present, and she was in that movie. And while we were doing it, I was also executive producing Unsung Hero simultaneously. And so talking with Joel and Luke, it was like, I think Hillary would be amazing to be the worship leader in this movie. And so we all encouraged her to join in, and she was like, wow, I like a couple opportunities right in a row, and I think God is asking something of me. So she just jumped in with both feet, and it's been incredible. So she lends her beautiful voice and face to the character of Luann, and that was such a treat. And one of the other faces that's in the movie for me that is so fantastic is Terry O'Quinn. He was in Lost, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And he is so good as their grandfather, James. He just brings such a warmth to the screen. And I absolutely love when he's on every single time.
Hey, you brought up the producing and you're acting in this. Talk a little bit. I don't think people really realize, maybe when they see, that this film is brought to you by Candace Cameron Bure, or it's produced or executive produced. Talk about those roles, because it's got to be very different to be holding those different hats, wearing those different hats. I'd imagine they help each other out because you've been on both sides of it. But talk about the behind the camera part, because I want to make sure people understand what that is and why that's important. You talk about unsung heroes. Sometimes a lot of the producers are unsung heroes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, people may not realize that I've executive produced probably the last 25 movies for television that I've been in. But then now my company, Candy Rock Entertainment, we're actually producing the film. So that's been just another growth direction for me. So we're actually, and I don't want to get into the weeds of like the difference of executive producing versus producing. And then people are like, now what's the director do? Because I know it all sounds like it's this very collaborative team, but you need every piece of the puzzle. And basically producers, executive producers are putting all of those puzzle pieces together. But my company has been growing. So I'm on that end of developing movies, getting the financial backing for movies, and then putting the pieces together of all the players, your crew, your cast, your everything, your post-production, your distribution. And so this is our first feature film with Candy Rock Entertainment, which is why it's another reason I could not be so proud, because I produced many movies for television, and I'm continuing to do that with my channel at Great American Family. But to go into the feature world is a little bit different, and they're bigger budgets, and there's a different framework around it, and it's really exciting for me.
Do you think this is a launching pad for more of kind of feature film?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you see this continuing.
Yeah, I'm been praying for a lot of things for a long time in terms of trajectory and career and where I want to go. So this is just the beginning of something new for me.
Well, again, Candace, I just can't thank you enough for spending some time with me. I have been telling everybody about this movie. It is so, so good. I can't wait for more people to see this, and for it to encourage families to continue to encourage and love each other and celebrate the family unit, which you have been doing for decades now.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the film. Bring your whole family out to watch. It's a good one.